Have you ever had one of those moments while driving where you suddenly wonder, has the rule changed? Maybe it's a road sign you don't recognize. Maybe it's a letter that arrived through the post. Maybe it's something a friend mentioned about licenses, eyesight checks, or vehicle regulations. The truth is that driving today isn't the same as it was 20 years ago. Roads have changed. Technology has changed. Vehicles have changed. And many of the responsibilities drivers must keep on top of have changed as well. Yet millions of experienced motorists continue to drive every day based on habits they developed decades ago. Now, don't get me wrong. Experience is valuable. In fact, many older drivers have safer driving records than younger motorists. But experience alone doesn't protect anyone from paperwork problems, overlooked responsibilities, or simple mistakes that can lead to unnecessary stress. That's why in today's video, we're looking at 5 common areas where drivers over 60 can get caught out. These aren't dramatic horror stories, they're practical issues that affect real people every year. And the good news is that every one of them can be addressed with a little awareness and a few simple checks. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's start with the first one. Number 1. Assuming someone else will handle important medical reporting. Let's begin with a situation that catches many people completely off guard. Imagine you've recently visited your doctor. Perhaps you've been diagnosed with a heart condition or started treatment for diabetes. You leave the appointment relieved. Everything seems under control, and naturally, you assume the medical system will handle any driving reports. But many drivers are surprised to discover that certain driving-related responsibilities may still rest with them. This is where misunderstandings happen. Most people aren't trying to break rules. They're simply unaware that some conditions can have implications for driving eligibility. The result? Years can pass before the issue comes to light, perhaps during a review, an insurance query, or after a minor collision. The important lesson here isn't to panic. It's simply to stay informed. If you've had a new diagnosis, it's worth checking the requirements. A few minutes spent checking could provide valuable peace of mind. And peace of mind is something every driver deserves. Number 2. The envelope that gets left on the kitchen counter. Let's be honest, we've all done it. A letter arrives. You think, I'll deal with that later. Then life gets busy, and the envelope gets buried under receipts and menus. The problem is that some letters aren't routine. Occasionally, failing to respond can create bigger problems than the contents themselves. One common mistake is assuming someone would call if it were important. Unfortunately, that's not always how administrative systems work. The letter is the notification. That's why it's worth developing a simple habit. Open official correspondence promptly and read it carefully. If you don't understand something, seek clarification immediately. A 10-minute phone call today can prevent weeks of frustration later. Number 3. The slow change. Most drivers never notice. How many people notice their eyesight getting worse the moment it happens? Almost nobody. Vision changes are often gradual. They creep in little by little. You hold reading material farther away, or street signs become harder to read. Driving at night feels slightly more tiring. Headlights seem brighter. Because it happens slowly, your brain adapts without you realizing it. Many motorists assume that because they can still drive comfortably, their vision must be perfectly adequate. But comfort and accuracy aren't the same. Think about how much information you process while driving. Road signs, lane markings, pedestrians, cyclists, traffic signals, vehicle movements. Every one of those decisions relies heavily on vision. Regular eye examinations ensure you're receiving the information you need to make safe decisions, and the difference can be amazing. Road signs appear sharper, night driving becomes easier. Sometimes the simplest improvements create the biggest benefits. Number 4. The 5-minute vehicle check that most people skip. Imagine you're leaving home tomorrow morning. You walk outside, unlock the car, start the engine, and drive away. Now ask yourself this. Before setting off, did you actually look at the vehicle? Not just sit inside it. Did you physically check it? Many drivers don't. Vehicles change over time. Tires wear down, bulbs fail, fluid levels drop. These issues rarely announce themselves dramatically. A quick visual inspection is a valuable habit. Walk around the vehicle, look at the tires, confirm lights are working. It only takes a couple of minutes. Walk around the vehicle, look at the tires, check for obvious damage. Confirm lights are working. Ensure mirrors and windows are clear. The entire process takes only a couple of minutes, yet it can identify problems before they become expensive, inconvenient, or potentially dangerous. Number 5. Thinking your driving record doesn't matter until something goes wrong. Most people never review these details. Why would they? But your driving record is much more than a piece of plastic. It's an official record of your driving status. The categories you're entitled to drive, any restrictions that may apply, your endorsements and licensing information. Until suddenly something goes wrong. Maybe you're changing insurance or renting a vehicle. That's often when people discover old information. Know what's on your record before you need it. A few minutes spent reviewing your information can eliminate a lot of uncertainty later. Why these small checks matter more than ever. At this point, you might be thinking, none of these sound dramatic, and that's exactly the point. The biggest problems often begin with the smallest oversights. Not reading a letter, skipping an eye test, or ignoring a tire. The good news? Every issue we've discussed today is manageable. None require specialist knowledge or major lifestyle changes. They simply require attention. Before you click away, here's a challenge. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Ask yourself, have I had any health changes? Have I read all correspondence? When was my last eye test? Have I checked my vehicle? Do I know what's on my record? If any answer makes you hesitate, you've identified something worth checking. For many people over 60, driving represents independence, freedom, and the ability to live life on your own terms. That's why these habits matter. Protecting something important starts with understanding your responsibilities. A little awareness and a few routine checks go a long way. If you found this helpful, let us know in the comments. Share this with someone who would benefit. Thanks for watching, drive safely, and we'll see you in the next one.